Welcome to Storytime Fun, boys and girls. We hope you enjoy. Today's story is out of the classic fairy tales book from Hans Christian Andersen and the Brothers Grimm, as retold by Nicola Baxter. And today's story is called King Throstlebeard. There was once a king who had a very beautiful daughter. Although she was the loveliest girl in the whole kingdom and the queues of suitors presented themselves every year, her heart was cold and proud. She laughed at all of them and sent them away. "Very well," said her father. "I will sort this out once and for all. I will invite every eligible nobleman from far and near to a great feast. When you see them together, you are sure to find someone that you like." So every king, prince, duke, marquis, earl, and baron came from hundreds of miles around. They were lined up in the great hall, and the princess walked up and down the rows looking at them, each in turn, like a general inspecting his troops. "Ha, ha, ha! Look at his skinny legs!" she laughed as she passed one very learned prince. "Ha, ha, ha, ha! He looks like a frog!" she giggled as she looked down at a very kind and hard-working duke. It was the same all the way down the line until she came to a young king who was charming in every way. Still, there was something about his face that reminded the princess of a bright-eyed bird. "I'll call you King Throstlebeard," she chuckled. "I couldn't possibly marry someone so bird-brained." Seeing that she had rejected every suitor in the most unkind way, the princess's father soon grew very angry with her. "You will marry the first beggar who comes to the palace gates," he declared, "and then you will be sorry." A few days later, a strolling player sat below the king's window and sang a haunting song. The king at once asked for him to be brought into the castle. "Your singing has brought you a greater reward than you could imagine," he said. "Here is my daughter. She shall be your wife." Despite the princess's protests, she was married at once and ushered out of the palace to make her way in the world with her new husband. The princess and the beggar trudged along through some beautiful countryside. The princess wondered whose land could be so pleasing. Her husband laughed and replied, "King Throstlebeard owns all the fore and near. You could have shared in everything that's here." Then the princess began to wish that she had not been so hasty. But it was too late now. All day they walked along, and everywhere there were fine towns and well-tended farms. Each time she asked the beggar, he told the princess that all of this belonged to King Throstlebeard. "I have been a fool," moaned the princess. "If only I had married him." At this, the beggar became angry. "You have been married to me for less than a day," he said, "and already you're wishing for another husband? Am I so unworthy of you?" Before she could reply, the princess saw that they had stopped at a tiny hut. "This is my home," the beggar told his wife, "where you and I shall live together." "But where do the servants live?" she asked. "What servants?" chuckled the beggar. "You will be doing all the work around here, my dear." So the princess's new life began, but things did not go smoothly. She was no good at cooking or cleaning or washing the clothes. She could not make a basket or spin thread. Ah! "This is no good at all," said her husband. "We have to make a living. I will buy some pots and you can sell them at the market. Even you should be able to do that." "But someone who knows me might see me," wailed the princess. "So they might," replied her husband with a smile. In fact, the princess did rather well with her stall at the market. She was so pretty that people were pleased to buy from her. Some even gave more than the asking price for her rather ordinary pots. The princess and her husband were able to live on the profit for some time. Then the beggar told the princess to take some new pots to the market. This time, things did not go so well. The princess set up her stall on the corner, and before an hour had passed, a runaway horse crashed into the stall and broke every pot that she had. Oh, of course, the princess's husband was furious. "You are completely useless," he said. "I cannot afford to keep you, but there is a post for a kitchen maid at the palace. They will feed you and you can bring home some scraps for me too." All day long, the princess, who had once been so proud, was up to her elbows in dishwater. Soon she had to work even harder than ever because a great feast was being held at the palace. That day, as she passed down a passageway, the princess paused to peer through a door into the ballroom. It was full of beautiful people in fine clothes, reminding her of all that she had lost. "It's my own fault," she admitted. "If I had not been so proud, I could have led a wonderful life." At that moment, the king came into the room. To the princess's horror, she realized that it was King Throstlebeard, whom she had rejected. Yet the king came straight toward the pretty girl and swept her, rags and all, into the dance. As he did so, the jars of scraps that she had saved fell out of the princess's pockets and rolled across the floor. The whole company roared with laughter at the sight, while the poor girl wished that the floor would open and swallow her up. Oh! As she fled from the ballroom, the princess found her way blocked by a man at the door. To her amazement, this was also King Throstlebeard. "Don't be afraid," he said kindly. "I have taken on many forms, including the beggar whom you married. I see that you have learned to give up your pride and coldness. Now I am proud to make you my queen." Oh, from that day forward, the new queen was the happiest woman in the world, and her kindness to everyone was known throughout the land. Yay! Well, that's it for today. We'll see you next time.